Welcome to another Sports Scene Live. We've got the new Sports Scene Live preview out. Take a look at that. We've got them all over the southeast Louisiana. Be sure to pick up your copy and check it out with the schedules, pictures of the teams, and rosters of all the football teams. Now, we are in our new home, the Tilted Kilt, right here off Cabela's Parkway, just off the I-10. And we are looking forward to being here each and every weekend. We'll tape on Sunday afternoons at 3 o'clock. We invite you to come on by and be part of the show. The Tilted Kilt, good cold, ice cold beer, and also a lot of great food here. We've got a great menu to go over, and we'll be talking about that during the football season as well. But we've got 4 coaches to talk to today, and we'll be back with the first one right after this.
Whether you're hurt by a dump truck or a garbage truck or any kind of commercial vehicle, you may have a big case worth big money. And these are some of the big results I fought to get my clients. Just call me. Get it done.
Call 888-8888.
Whatever your car is doing, we'll check it out and fix it right.
Amco Transmissions on Coursey Boulevard in Baton Rouge, 752-0081.
AA MCO.
A&M Heating and Air Conditioning has been locally owned and operated by Tony Arsenault since 1988. They have an honest reputation based on sound advice and great service. Call A&M Heating and Air Conditioning today for all of your service needs.
Looking for something new? Try Charlie Granger's for hot dogs, brisket, or barbecue. Charlie Granger's with house-made sandwiches, world-famous hot dogs, and don't forget the brisket baked beans. Wow! Located at 1000 South Burnside, behind the Shell Station, across from Regions Bank. You can call ahead and prepare to crave. Eat in or take out. Charlie Granger's, world-famous hot dogs, brisket, or barbecue. You can just have one try at it, and you'll be back for more. Charlie Granger's, a proud sponsor of Sports Scene.
Bertrand's Pharmacy has been providing personal medication counseling for over 30 years. Andy and Jeannie Bertrand, registered pharmacists, honor many prescription plans. Bertrand's is open Monday through Saturday. Phone 644-5641. Tilted Kilt is food, friends, beer, sports, and fun, awaiting you at Gonzalez's newest sports pub near Cabela's. Check out the food and views at Tilted Kilt. Hearty meals like sirloin and cheesesteak salad. The Tilted Kilt, home of the Sports Scene Live TV show, Sundays at 3 p.m. Come be a part of the fun.
Ready to talk a little football with Santa Maria head coach David Oliver, the original Coach O as far as we're concerned. Coach, congratulations on a victory.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's we had a score in the press box down in Letcher. They said it was 2-0. Was that an accurate score to begin with?
That was the halftime score.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, it was. We came out and I tell you, first of all, our defense, what a tremendous effort by our defense. They didn't give up a point in the Jamboree, and they still have not given up a point. All the points we gave up were self-inflicted, but it would have been 0-0 at half, but we forced them to punt deep in their own end, and the punter stepped on the end line as he caught the ball, so we got a safety early in the game, and that score stayed till after halftime. It was a very sloppy first half. I was telling Coach Lee a second ago how we had the season's worth of turnovers in the game. We lost 7 turnovers. We lost 6 on offense and 1 on special teams, and 2 interceptions and 5 fumbles, and that's a way to keep a team in the game. So we were fortunate to come out with a win. Those are things we can correct, and like I said, the defensive effort and most of our special teams were exceptional.
Lake Area New Tech. I've never even heard of that school before.
Well, they're a school out of New Orleans, and Derek Lewis is their coach. He former Saints player. And, they got about 50 kids, and really they're a pretty good-looking group, but they were really struggling getting, the right amount of guys on the field and delays of games. And but I tell you what, they had enough players to really create some problems for us, especially the defensive ends. The other score, was 24-6. The defensive end picked off a screen pass and returned it about 40 yards for a touchdown. So, for one of our turnovers. So that's something that we know right now we're going to have to absolutely clean up coming into next week.
I'm looking at from what you had last year. You had a great year and everything and made it to the playoffs and all. And you lost so many players. Every coach has to replace players every year, but you've had to replace almost your entire defense. It's been close.
Yeah, we've had to replace a bunch off of last year's team. And, that's what I was talking to one of my former players earlier today and told him, man, people don't realize how fortunate those guys were so experienced last year because they missed some time for the flood and just picked right back up. And right now with this team, it seems like if we don't review it every day, it's like brand new to them. But I like the players that we have, and I think that, as the season goes on, we're going to see improvement in every area, especially in ball security.
Well, I see one thing on offense. You've got a young man I remember very well. In fact, a couple of them. But Cade Nelson and KJ Franklin, those two guys are returning from.
Obviously, and we're going to build our attack and team around them. In fact, the other season opening games, Cade Nelson had 30 carries for 248 yards, so almost 9 yards a carry. So he was a force on the ground, and unusual for him. He put the ball on the ground a few times, and which is highly, highly unusual. So we expect him to come out and protect the football like he always has for us.
You've got a senior quarterback, but it's kind of his time to step up and play now.
It is. Halen Miller was a JV guy and an understudy, and he has his moments where he plays great, and then, he has his moments where he makes a couple errors. And, I think we're going to have to play through that with him and wait for him to improve. He got nicked up a little bit. He got
you were kind of spoiled in the past.
Yeah, we've had a pretty good run of those guys. So, but I think he's going to come around and be able to play. We got to, it's early in the season, and this next game is going to be a huge challenge for us. It's kind of a weird week at school already because we got Monday off, and then we have Thursday and Friday off of school. The students do for professional development of teachers, and we're playing Helen Cox, and we don't really know what we're going to get. Helen Cox, their scrimmage got canceled. They went to play somebody in a scrimmage and waited 4.5 hours in the lightning. They canceled it because of the weather, so we don't have any film on that. And then they got in their jamboree last week, and 15 plays in, they got in a bench clearing brawl with Higgins, so they suspended the jamboree, and both teams had to forfeit week 1. So we're sitting in the office today looking at like 15 total plays of Helen Cox. So I mean, this is going to be a mystery as to what we're going to see and what we have to prepare for. So with a week, with a few days not with school, with an inexperienced team and that, I really hope that we can find it within us to go out and be solid.
I know coaches change up their offenses quite a bit during the year and game to game, and you have game plans. What about defense? Do you change up defense as much during the course of a season?
We run our systems on offense and defense. Now that system could look a little different based on, the opponent. If they pass a bunch, we probably have a tendency to have deep safeties more often. If they run a bunch, we'll drop one into the box, that kind of thing. But, basically we play what we play and kind of dictate the blitzes and the special things by our opponent.
You ever have trick plays?
On defense?
On offense.
Yeah, we have trick plays.
You're not going to tell us what they are, but
all of them the other night looked like trick plays. We make the trick plays look easy and the routine ones look tough right now. But we'll get better.
What did you say at halftime when it was a 2-0 ball game? That had to be a pretty interesting halftime for us.
Well, I just think we were all kind of disappointed about how we played, and we just reiterated that, it's not who we play, it's how we play, which is one of the big things that we have built our program on. And it was really about us. It wasn't what Lake Tech was doing, it was about what we were doing. We weren't executing, we were putting the ball on the ground, we were getting silly penalties, we were jumping off sides on 3rd and 4 when everyone knew it was going to be a hard count. And, those are things we can control, and absolutely. And we came out, I was really pleased with how we played in the 3rd quarter and most of the 4th quarter with a lot more intensity and enthusiasm.
Now, I don't like to look back much, but there's one guy I got to mention, and that's Briggs Bourgeois. He did everything except sell peanuts at halftime, and you could have used a guy like that in this ball game, I would think.
Yeah, I tell you what, Hector Rodriguez actually came in and did a decent job kicking. He touched a couple back, but Briggs, if my clock's right, is probably kicking off for Southern Miss right now against Kentucky. He texted me, said he won the kickoff job and is going to be punting too. So it's hard to replace guys like that, but the 2016 season was special, but now we're fixing to write the story of the 2017 Gators, and Chapter 1's done, and it was a win, and there's a lot to correct, but at the end of the day, I think we're going to remember it for that. It's a win.
Well, all coaches like that next man up, and it's time for the next man up with their ball club.
Absolutely.
Looking at the schedule and so on, you've got a pretty interesting, I don't like to call it preseason, but pre-district schedule. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, obviously we played Lake area first, and then we talked about Helen Cox, our week 2 opponent, just a while ago. Week 3 is West Jefferson. Week 4 is Letcher, and then week 5 is at St. James. Little quirk of the schedule, our first 4 games at home, so hopefully that'll help us get in a little bit of a groove, behind our home fans. And then our first road game will actually be against St. James week 5. So it's a challenging schedule, a lot of speed, and good coaching on that schedule. So we're excited to see how it plays out.
On the district side, it's always competitive, and I noticed that Catholic won on the last play of the game over Parkview.
Absolutely, that was a huge win for them, and EA went down to Letcher on the road and had a huge win down there. And McKinley looks improved. Dutchtown had a rough week 1, but you can see some progress there. And Broadmoor beat Terrace, so I think it's going to be the same competitive district like it always is.
You're in your 10th year. I mean, how does time fly by that fast?
I don't know. It seems like you blink and you miss it,
That's incredible. It says something about the program you've developed. You've raised the bar pretty high, and expectations are always high.
We hope to keep it that way.
And I'd like to talk a little bit more about your football team. It's really a young football team.
Well, I would say inexperienced. We have 33 seniors, so it's nice to have those guys on special teams and playing. But
young from playing standpoint.
Yeah, from an experience standpoint, being in a Friday night game, some of the things that you just can't learn unless you do it on a Friday night, which is what we kind of saw. You know what I mean? They were waiting for somebody else to take charge when now it's their turn. And I think we're going to get some guys to step up and do that for us. I'm confident.
At least there's one good thing about the mistakes you made are all correctable type mistakes.
Yes, they are. And, that was very unlike us. And, that's hopefully we got it out of our system, because there ain't many games you're going to turn the ball over like that and have a chance to win. So, you got to be happy about the outcome. But the way it looked was pretty rough.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the victory, and we look forward to seeing you each weekend. How do you like our new home here at the Tilted Kilt?
So far, so good.
Have you checked out the menu? I mean, they've got a wide menu. Why don't you check that out?
I did. I looked it out. I think we'll go try it here in a second.
All right. That sounds good to me, too. All right. We'll be right back.
Your custom-built dream home is more affordable than ever at Roland Homes. Quality comes first on all our modular and manufactured homes. Roland Homes has a huge inventory in many styles and floor plans. And if we don't have it, we'll custom build it, so you'll find the right home to fit your lifestyle and your budget. New or pre-owned, financing is available. Plus, home improvement and repairs are even easier with Roland Homes parts and accessories now on site for your convenience. All at one location to better serve you. Roland Homes in Prairieville.
Big O Tires is now open in Sanama. They offer tires, alignments, brakes, and oil changes. If it's got tires, we've got you covered. Stuck on the road? Call their 24/7 roadside assistance number, 445-3635. Big O Tires in Sanama.
They swarm, they nest, they will destroy your home.
Eliminate the colony and eliminate termites for good.
We're one of the area's largest volume leaders in Centricon installations. Call the original Salvant. Call the Bug Man.
923-BUGS.
Automotive repairs? We've got you covered. Tyrus Total Automotive in Prairieville and Sanama Muffler and Brake Service. See us for CV shaft work, brakes, tune-ups, air conditioner, tires, and diagnostics. Wherever you are in Ascension Parish, visit one of Tyrus' convenient locations. Bro Welding and Industrial Supply prides themselves on same-day delivery. Customer service is our #1 priority. They deliver on time, every time. Bro Company, serving the area for over 30 years. On the web at broco.com. See Foti Financial Services for all your money needs. They have loans for any worthwhile purpose. Auto, furniture, appliance, home improvement, and vacation loans. Celebrating over 50 years of service, Foti Financial Services. Outmuscle the outdoors with a Kawasaki Brute Force 300 featuring sporty performance and agile handling, or try the Brute Force 750 with twin-engine digital fuel injection and automatic transmission, available at Lightspeed Motorsports. Tilted Kilt is Gonzales' newest sports venue. You'll find refreshing new food choices with appetizers like loaded tater tots, pub nachos, bacon cheeseburger sliders, and beer battered onion rings. Check out the food and views at the Tilted Kilt near Cabela's, home of the Sports Scene Live TV show, Sundays at 3 p.m.
Welcome back to the Tilted Kilt. Ready to talk some more football. East Ascension head coach Darnell Lee, and congratulations on victory #1 for the new year.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
What's interesting is that last year you had a winning streak there at the end of the year. You kind of picked up from that point and carried it right on again. You started off with another winning streak here in the year.
Well, Zachary put into that winning streak last year in the second round of the playoffs. But our kids work hard in the off season, and last night, I felt like it was a great win for us against a quality opponent. You know, Coach Jenkins does a great job over there.
Defending 3A state champions.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
Two times.
That's two times in a row. That's saying a lot, that's for sure.
Yep.
That game, it was 0-0 at the end of one quarter of play, and it looked like both teams kind of feeling each other out, kind of battling it out with each other. And then the second quarter got interesting because in 15 seconds there was 2 touchdowns scored. Both of you scored.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the ball bounced their way on a blocked field goal attempt, and you know, we were able to return the ensuing kickoff. Jamel London, who's a phenomenal player for us, kind of bailed us out. I mean, they did a great job of keeping our offense off the field. I mean, we only got 3 plays in over a quarter and 3/4.
You know, looking at the halftime stats, Lutcher had 100 and something yards. I think 163 yards total, and y'all had less than that, about 100 yards less than that.
Right.
You would look one-sided as far as the stats go. The score was 13-7. You were down, and then the third quarter, I don't know what you did at halftime, but boy, something changed, and that was a different football team out there the second half.
We just stayed the course. We played patient and told our guys to just execute and trust the coaching. You know, our coaches did a great job of making the correct calls in the second half and putting our kids in position to make plays.
You had some big plays. You had a 68-yarder, a 61-yarder, I think, some called back with penalties. One of the penalties that was called is one of the new rules. Maybe you can comment a bit about it. Was the blindside block.
Yes, sir. That was our offensive lineman. He led with his face mask. He didn't extend his hands and on a peel back block, we call it. But you know, we went over that with him, and it's just something. It's an adjustment they have to make.
So, and that's a new rule for this year, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. And it's safety of the game. You know, it's to protect the kids.
The victory that you had, you got a lot of players back from last year, which is good. You lost some key players. I remember Justin Harris being one of those key players, but you certainly had have replaced the players that you've lost. Comment a little bit about the guys you've got coming back, because they were a good team nucleus last year, and you've got that core coming back again.
Yes, sir. We have guys coming back this year who accepted their roles, and you know, some of their roles have been extended to the point to where they have to make plays for us. Jamel London is going to be a two-way player for us. Jason Wakefield has grown tremendously from last year to this year as a quarterback signal caller. He's making great decisions, and he's able to throw the football around. We have a pretty decent receiving core led by Tyree Johnson and Siobhan Robinson, who was our district last year. Defensively, Coach Zachary is doing a great job. I feel like we went to a scheme that better suit our kids. So, you know, they're playing with a lot of confidence, and we'd like to see that continue.
I'm amazed at how low key you are right now. I mean, I think I'd be jumping up and down excited that I won the opening game and against a defending state champion.
I mean, you know, it's early in the season. It's probably best to play Lutcher week 1 than week 9, you know. So, you know, we're just happy to get that W.
I've got to apologize to Jamel London. You know, I was doing the play-by-play for the webcast and for Sports Scene Live and also for the Game of the Week on E-Tail. We had number 11 as Joaquin Mitchell.
Right.
And we thought it was Mr. Mitchell doing all of this. I'm thinking, my gosh, this guy's playing offense, he's playing defense, he's playing special teams, he's all over the place, and it was Jamel the whole time.
We had an issue with our uniforms. We had some new uniforms. We received our homes in time for the Jamboree, and some of our numbers were torn last year in the old Nike uniforms, so we switched to Under Armour. And Jamel's, our uniforms got shipped to Memphis, Tennessee from New Iberia, you know, so we had to go with the older ones, and Jamel's number 2 wasn't in there, and Jaquan's out with injury, so we switched him. I did make a phone call to the booth to let them know to change it.
I wish I'd gotten that phone call, so we gave a lot of credit to the wrong guy, but we want to give the credit now on this show to Jamel London, our player of the week, and certainly there was no question of who the player of the week would be with the game that he had. It's got to be fun to have an explosive player like that, to be able to see him just take off. And there was times there you think it was a 2 or 3 yard pickup, and next thing you know, boom, he's off and running.
He's very deceptive. He's slippery. He's a cunning player. He's extremely savvy. You know, he started corner for us last year. He gave up 1 catch the whole season, and first year playing cornerback. And late in the season when we made our little push is because he saw more reps on the offensive side, and he's been our spot.
He's a two-way player. He's also a two-sport player. Plays basketball as well. He's the point guard, right?
Yes, sir.
On the basketball team. The Looking at your quarterback this year with Wakefield, I know you're replacing him. He's the new starter now at quarterback, and he seems to be pretty steady. He improved as the game went along.
Yes, sir. He was actually the quarterback. We went to him as a sophomore. I think it was week 7 after the 0-6 start, and his first start was against Dutchtown, and he led us to the first couple of victories. He was injured against McKinley, and came back second round of the playoffs. But you know, he's been phenomenal all off season in the 7-on-7s. Him and Coach Young have a great relationship, great working relationship. He actually sees what Coach is trying to get done offensively.
You've got Evan Copeland play a lot in the second half as a running back. Ralph Williams was carrying the ball a lot early, and then you went to Copeland, and looks like he stepped it up.
He did, and we actually we still have Nick Massey. Nick Massey's out, and Nick's probably our number 2 guy. He suffered a high ankle sprain a couple of weeks ago in the fall scrimmage. But Evan's been that guy. He was there for us last year. He suffered a concussion midway through the season. He didn't play the second half of last year, so you know he's got fresh legs. We saw that.
I noticed there was some cramping up with those players too with that heat and humidity. You had to keep them hydrated.
And then with us not being able to practice Tuesday and Wednesday because of the storm, you know, we try to get out. You don't want to kill them Thursday before the game, so we kind of went on a prayer, you know, and it caught up with us. We did tell the guys to hydrate, but you know, 2 days of not conditioning, we'll catch up with you.
Your next game coming up is going to be interesting too. This one is going to be against a team that lost in the last play of the game to Catholic. And that's Parkview Baptist.
Extremely. That is an extremely well coached team. Just watching the film on them, I mean, it's going to be a very tough task for us.
We know how Catholic is every year, and Parkview Baptist had them on the ropes and had them beaten into the last play of the game.
And that's another dome team from last year, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Coach does a great job with them, and you know we're expecting their best.
Now, you got an interesting pre-district schedule. When you look at going to Lutcher to start the season off, that was a tall order. And then you've got Parkview Baptist, you got Thibodaux, Cecilia. You've got a pretty interesting schedule.
So I thought I could do a little better than last year having Scotlandville and Zachary and all those guys, but you get 3 dome teams in your pre-district schedule, and that's the best we could do, you know. It
toughens you up for the regular season, or not regular season, but for the district play, doesn't it?
No, it does. It does prepare us for the run we had last season towards the end.
The last time, if I'm not mistaken, that EA made it to the semifinals of the state championship was 1991, if I'm not mistaken, and you were on that football team.
Yes, sir. I started cornerback, and I was a split end, played both ways. Yep, lost to Neville.
You come back to your alma mater, that's going to be a big thrill and a big opportunity for you, and it'd be a great way to get back to the dome and get back to the playoffs like that.
And that's what we're shooting for. You know, I think everybody in the state's shooting for it, but you know, we're trying to change the mindset, change the culture. We want our kids to believe, and it's just something that they hadn't been talking about. You know, I asked them the other day, and none of them they don't think past the game 10, week 10. You know, I said, guys, we got to prepare for 15 games. You know, we want to know when our last practice is, and the only way to do that is to make it to the dome.
You know, I remember Tim Detillier, when he was at Lutcher, he had a thing on his wall that had each week, you know, what they expected from each week, and he had it all the way down to that 15th week.
That's right. That's right.
He wanted those players to look ahead and know that that's the ultimate goal. You got to look 1 week at a time, but that's the stepping stone to get there.
And that's the culture.
Yeah,
that's the culture.
Well, Coach, congratulations on that first victory of the year, a big one certainly. And they've stepped it up. They're going to be in 4A this year, the Lutcher Bulldogs. So, and we'll be talking to their head coach here shortly. The season's a long one, but it goes by so quick. And we were just talking to Coach O about it being there 10 years. This is your second year, so it goes by fast, doesn't it?
It does. It does. And trying to enjoy it.
All right. Well, enjoy that first one, and I know you got the next one to prepare for. Congratulations again.
All right. Thank you.
And we'll be back.
Marchand's Interior and Hardware Specialist. Got it made.
Come into our showroom and let our experts guide you through our large selection of today's latest trends. Marchand's flooring and countertop collections offer these styles with unbelievable prices. And at Marchand's, we install it all. Come in to see all of the promotions and specials going on now.
With Marchand's Interior and Hardware Specialist, you've got it made.
Galvez Seafood, now serving our popular boiled crawfish. Check out our daily lunch and dinner specials. We have something for everyone. Join us for steak night on Thursdays, or sink your teeth into our $5 burger and dollar draft special every Saturday for lunch. Book our private room for your next party or meeting, or let us cater your next function. Locally owned and operated, we pride ourselves on homemade. If you haven't already, come check us out. Galvez Seafood, Highway 42 in Prairieville.
Bear Steel Incorporated, Gonzales and Baton Rouge, offers structural steel fabrication. Bear Steel is a proud supporter of all high school sports in this area. Phone 644-5316 or 291-2144. Selling your home? Rick Gotro with Realty Executives in Prairieville can do a comparative market analysis to properly value your home before it goes on the market. Call Ricky today, 715-7256.
Pedrine's Portable Buildings invites you to visit their new location on the Airline Highway in Prairieville. Pedrine's offers free estimates, free delivery in surrounding areas, and setup. We do workshops, outdoor kitchens, even snowball stands. Pedrine's Portable Buildings.
It's hurricane season. Rescom Electric installs Generac generators for residential and commercial customers. Keep your family and business safe. Call Rescom Electric today for your Generac generator, 622-3647.
For sports, food, and fun, it's the Tilted Kilt in Gonzales. All sports fans will enjoy entree choices like beer-battered fish and chips, grilled pork chops, smothered chicken, and more. Check out the food and views at Tilted Kilt near Cabela's Parkway, and come be a part of the Sports Scene Live TV show Sundays at 3 p.m.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Welcome back to the Tilted Kilt, our new home for the 2017 football season. And Guy Mistretta, the new head coach and athletic director at Dutchtown, joins us now. And Coach, I know it was a tough opener for you from the very get-go, from the very first play.
That's right.
You got indoctrinated into 5A football right away.
Absolutely, yeah. They called us. You know, one of the strengths of our team is our defense, and it's been, we've really been flowing to the ball. They did a great job of scheming against it and got us on a double reverse pass. Tough way to open the season. But I can tell you, we responded, especially on the defense. We responded after that and played a pretty good first half.
Well, I always like to talk about the positive things and everything I read in the paper about the game and everything, the mistakes and the errors and problems, all that are all correctable. They're all correctable situations.
They are. The unfortunate thing is we had the same errors last week in the Jamboree. I don't like making excuses, but we had everybody had a crazy week this week with the rain and the hurricane, so we weren't able to practice as much as we'd like, and all those things that we really wanted to focus on this week, we didn't get to, and they reared their ugly head again. So just left the coaches meeting, and we're determined to get that fixed this week.
That's a tough opener though, to open up with Walker on the road.
It's not the old Walker you remember. They the last couple of years they've done a great job. Won 7 games last year and returned 16 starters. So we knew we were going to have a tough competition. It is what it is. Now we regroup and we look toward the Central Wildcats next week.
I'm looking over your football team, and I know you're very happy about some of the guys and some of the play of some of the guys. And maybe you can comment a little bit about maybe Ben Mays to start off with your quarterback.
Ben played a really good game for us. He got in the running aspect a little bit, which we've been holding off on, in the preseason, trying to avoid injuries, of course.
He scored a touchdown, didn't he?
He did. Had a couple of big plays for us. So we're excited about that. I think that's going to develop as a part of our identity on offense. He's already a really good passer, so we've got to, still working on that timing with receivers.
The players you've got returning back from last year, of course, they're new to you because of your first year, but everything. Comment a little bit about maybe the leadership qualities that you have there, some of those guys.
Well, you mentioned Ben. Ben's a real leader for us on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, Jacoby Johnson, linebacker, had a superb game. He's a leader as well. As a matter of fact, those two guys, along with Blake Cozy, who's an offensive lineman, were selected captains by our team. Cozy has been out ever since our boot camp this year. He will return this week, so we're excited about that. He's kind of the leader of that offensive line, so we expect to get a lot better with his presence.
Tackle, offensive left
He'll be the left tackle, correct.
That's your blind side guy.
It is. We've shuffled everybody around a little bit. He's the most athletic guy, which is great, on that perimeter. So we expect to get a little boost this week with his return.
Talk a little bit about that, having to bounce back from that very first play of the game like that. That had to be an eye-opener, not only for you as the coach, but for the players, too. That was a shock.
Yeah. Well, it always is.
From that, yeah.
Yeah, you get punched in the mouth. How are you going to respond? That's what we've kind of asked the guys that question for a month now. You're going to be faced with adversity. Everyone is. Every team is. In every game, in every practice, you're always faced with some adversity. How do you respond to it? That says a lot about your character and the character of the team. I was happy with the way we responded overall. It didn't. We still have some issues we've got to get fixed. But defensively, for instance, you give up that big play, you turn right around and have a goal line stand, 3 minutes later. So you can't say enough about that part of the game.
You look at the score, and it's really misleading because you're 3/4 of the game. You're very much alive and in the game. Yeah. And it was that fourth quarter.
It was,
and it was the turnovers.
Right. It was 14-3 with 7 minutes left in the game. During that time, we had 3 red zone opportunities that we did not convert. So that's an area of concern for us that we've got to address. But yes, we're right there at that point. And then at the end, you start pressing a little bit. You're down 11. You're trying to make something happen. Get a couple turnovers. Which good teams do, convert those things into more points. And so it kind of snowballed there at the end.
21 points in the fourth quarter, I think, is what they scored.
Yes.
And that's what put it away. But you got to be, I think, somewhat encouraged with the play of your team, your first game out.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm encouraged with. I'm encouraged by the coachability of our guys. They are very receptive to what we're doing. They want to learn. They want to get better. We're trying to overcome, some mental anguish that they have. And, when one mistake turns into 2, turns into 3, those are the areas that we're trying to change. And that happens when you're a little down as a program. So we're trying to
I'm laughing.
turn that back.
I don't mean to be laughing, but it sounds like golf. I mean, it sounds like once you hit a bad shot, you hit a second bad shot.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, absolutely. And it's easier said than done. It's easier for me to say that. Sure.
Par is pretty tough.
No question about it.
The team that you have and the team that you've got, I know that you really were working hard in this early few weeks of practice of getting that team more physical and really demanding a lot from them from a physical standpoint.
Yeah, that was one of our goals this week. And we really, to be honest, didn't live up to it. But that says something about the competition as well. Walker's a big unit up front. They got two running backs, both at 220, 225. So it was a big, powerful unit coming at us. Same thing on their defensive front is their strength of their defense. So that's an area that we want to get our program back where it belongs. We've got to become more physical across the board.
You got Central now again, and this one will be on the road once again too.
That's right. Second time. I haven't stepped foot in Griffin Stadium yet. We got our scrimmage moved because of weather, and then Jamboree in the first 2 games are away. So we'll actually open up for the first time this Wednesday night against Central with a JV game. So I'm looking forward to that.
What do you know about Central, or what have you been able to look at?
They won a big game last night. They're facing some injuries, especially on offense. I'm not sure if those kids are coming back yet. They're on I think their 3rd quarterback right now. Those guys will be back. I'm not sure if they're back this week. So it's kind of hard to predict from that standpoint. But they're going to be they're always a physical team. They always play a defense that swarms to the ball. So we'll definitely have our hands full.
Do you change your defenses up much from week to week, or do you like to go with a 3-man or 4-man front and stay with that pretty much?
We play both fronts. We play even and odd front. We're pretty multiple there, but it's the same thing from week to week. So our scheme can pretty much adjust to everything that we're seeing, which is fortunate really when you prepare for what their base scheme is. So we're focusing on the zone read this week. That's a lot of what they do. Counter as well. So that'll be our focus up front.
Offensively, you like to spread it out a lot.
We do. We'd like to spread the ball around. Again, I think we're best when we're getting our guys up front moving a little bit. We had one of our running backs that's been out the last couple of weeks, Jaden Ashley, returned to the game last night, got a few snaps, had a couple big runs. We want to get him more involved now. Brock Beeman's another back that's kind of been our steady guy here so far in the season. So that's kind of our 1-2 at this point.
Every coach has to replace players every year, and you've had to replace almost the whole defense. You only had I think 3 returning starters from last year.
I believe that's right, but again, we're happy with those guys, the way they're progressing. We've still got a ways to go, but overall, we're happy with them. What we really talked about this morning in our meetings was building depth, giving some other guys an opportunity to show what they have, and that's a tricky proposition because you have to hold that line pretty steady when you're in these 50-50 type games.
I don't know where to go with this, but I know we try to stay positive. You're 0-1. You've got another road game coming up, and how do you get your team to respond? And I guess that's all part of coaching. You've been a head coach before, but what do you do to try to get that team motivated and back on track?
Well, just like any week, we went in this morning, win or lose, we're going to go in the morning, we're going to correct all the mistakes. Tell the guys, you don't improve if you're not making mistakes.
And you improve more after the first game than you do any time during the year.
You do, and you more than that, you improve after the first loss.
Oh, okay.
Because that's when you really look at everything. You uncover everything and really look at the warts and see what you got to do to fix them. So we do that every Saturday morning. By noon on Saturday, hey, we're putting that away and we're moving on. So right now, last week no longer matters. The only thing we can affect at this point is this week's game. So that's the way we approach it. Monday morning, I expect them guys to show up 7:30 on Labor Day, ready for some labor.
And your scheduling, you have to have the first 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, your tough days, and then you start tapering down.
That's right. Those are our heavy days, which, again, that's why I told the guys, you ought to be kind of excited about that Monday practice, which is kind of all football that day, football and family. So we'll have them there till about 11:30, and then send them home for their barbecues and get some rest, get off your feet, and come back and start that regular school day on Tuesday.
It's got to be exciting to be back home for you, basically, but to be at a 5A school and to be moving up in class. You've been coaching a long time and you've been around it a lot. And this was a kind of a challenge for you too, isn't it?
It is, and it's exciting. It really is. The thing about it, of course, everything's bigger, school size, squad size. Also, the support system is bigger, and that's been huge at Dutchtown High School and in the community. The support has been, much more than I ever anticipated, and I'm really thankful for it.
Well, we appreciate you coming out to the Tilted Kilt. This is your first time out here, huh?
First time. I'm looking forward to trying.
You saw all the TVs and their games are on all over the place. And
that's right. Hey, opening weekend of college football. I couldn't ask for more.
Yeah. Okay, Coach. Well, good luck to you, and we look forward to seeing you every week.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the three-point shooter to the three-piece suit. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
If it's glass you need, you can depend on Airline Glass and Upholstery, 724 Airline Highway, Gonzales. They've been taking care of your glass and upholstery needs since 1972. Give Stephen or Tanya a call today at 647-1040. Ascension Ready Mix supplies concrete for residential, commercial, and industrial clients. They're a locally owned company with locations in Prairieville and Baton Rouge. Ascension Ready Mix, phone 677-7177. Acadian Custom Cabinets creates a custom product to your specs. They're professionals that do incredible work that lasts for years to come. The owner is hands-on to give you exactly what you want. Acadian Custom Cabinets, phone 622-6337. Bruyette's Automotive Paint and Body are collision repair specialists. Their certified trained technicians offer state-of-the-art repair. They offer free estimates and all insurance claims are welcome. Bruyette's Automotive Paint and Body. BNC Electric in Gonzales and Baton Rouge has starters, alternators, generators, and batteries for autos, trucks, marine, tractors, forklifts, and heavy equipment in stock. BNC Electric, starter and alternator headquarters, serving Gonzales and Baton Rouge. Outmuscle the outdoors with a Kawasaki Brute Force 300 featuring sporty performance and agile handling, or try the Brute Force 750 with twin-engine digital fuel injection and automatic transmission, available at Lightspeed Motorsports. For sports, food, and fun, it's the Tilted Kilt in Gonzales. All sports fans will enjoy entree choices like beer-battered fish and chips, grilled pork chops, smothered chicken, and more. Check out the food and views at Tilted Kilt near Cabela's Parkway, and come be a part of the Sports Scene Live TV show Sundays at 3 p.m.
Welcome back once again to the Tilted Kilt, our new home for 2017's football season. Sports Scene Live is glad to have this place as our home now, and a great place to come and get a cold one, and certainly check out their menu. We want to recommend that to you to come by anytime. We tape normally on Sunday afternoons at 3 o'clock. Keep that in mind too if you want to come by and see the show and maybe even join in and be part of the show. We'll have an opportunity for that. Well, we have Dwayne Jenkins, the head coach of the defending state champion Letcher Bulldogs, with us, and from 3A you jump up to 4A now.
Yeah, it's great to be back and have another opportunity to come on Sports Scene TV, and we know we have a lot to build on. We made the jump up. We're one of the smallest 4A schools in the state. Our numbers are right over that line this year, so we'll play the next 2 years out in 4A and battle it out and grow the young football team.
I know one thing, you got a young football team and you're a 4A team coming off a 3A year championship, but that doesn't bother you guys in scheduling. I'll tell you, you've got all three, EA, Santa Ma, and EA at Dutchtown, those three 5A schools, and you play a pretty representative pre-district schedule.
Yeah, we think our schedule is really tough just all the way through. We play the three Ascension Parish 5A schools, which are always going to be well-coached teams with talent and size, which is one of the things we do lack a little bit, size up front, so it gives us a tough mismatch there. We play our rival St. James next week, which is a dominant team on the 3A level this year. It's going to be one of the top teams in 3A. And then we get in our district and we pick up Parkview and Plaquemine in our district, two of the top teams in their respective divisions this year as well. So we know that our kids are going to be battle tested. We just need to continue to grow, continue to improve each and every day, and build for something towards the end of the season.
You're in what they consider the Baton Rouge district, which is really kind of weird being in Letcher.
Yeah, we get bounced around anytime there's reclassification. I think this is our fourth classification cycle that we've been in 4A. In the history of the school, we've always been a 3A school for most of those years, so this is going to be our 7th and 8th years in 4A. And we were in the New Orleans district for some time first, and then we got bounced into Baton Rouge for a little while in 4A, and we kind of used to getting bounced around, I guess, when it comes to district, and we're in no man's land. There's no schools around us that are 4A size schools, so we kind of get bounced to wherever they need a team. And we knew this year with the 4A reclass, we could have ended up anywhere between Baton Rouge, New Orleans, or the Bayou, and it ended up being Baton Rouge.
Let's talk a little bit about the football game. I know you don't like to talk about losses and look back, but this was really a physical, tough football game and a really good high school football game. Nothing at the end of one quarter of play. At the half, it was 13-7, and 2 touchdowns were scored within 15 seconds in that third quarter. And then right at the end of the half, you guys come up with a big defensive play to block a field goal and turn it into a score.
Well, we really
have a field goal block and turn it into a score.
Yeah, it was really. We think what we have to do this year to be successful is be able to control the clock and be able to run the football. And we were able to do that in the first half. We were able to do some things with our 2-back sets. We had 3 possessions in the first half. We limited EA to really 2 possessions in that whole half, and we had a 10-play drive, we had an 11-play drive, we had a 16-play drive, but we have to get points, and we had some penalties that kind of stalled that first drive out. We thought that the second drive was really good. We got the 3-and-out on defense, got the ball offensively, drove it down, got the score, and that's when all the excitement started. Mr. London from East Ascension, you got to tip your hat off to that kid, the way he played that game. He took over the football game. We believe that if we can make a couple plays on special teams in that first half and get into the locker room at 9-0 or 13-0 without that kick return, that the game might be a little bit different. We might have been able to survive a little bit more.
Yeah, but that 100-yard kickoff return and a 68-yard punt return.
Right. But at the end of the half, it's something that we talked about on special teams. It just wasn't a very good kick on that field goal attempt that we had. It hit one of our offensive linemen in the back. our running back, Devon Adams, was heads up enough to catch it in the air. And because the scrimmage kick never went beyond the line of scrimmage, you can advance it. So he tried to advance it. He kind of got piled up and was able to pitch it back to our kicker, Alec Bland, who then was able to run in for the touchdown for the score. And that's the second time I've been ahead. This is my 5th season as a head coach. That's the second time that I've seen a scrimmage kick. I've had my team have a scrimmage kick return for a touchdown. We had it happen a punt my first year at St. James. We had a punt that didn't get beyond the line of scrimmage. One of our up backs was able to pick it up and run it 70 yards for a touchdown. It's a weird play in football, but you just need to be conscientious of awareness of what goes on the field. And then one of the things we talked about at the end of the half, there was an inadvertent whistle on the field goal attempt that EA had on a ball that didn't reach the end zone, and we picked it up and we ran it back all the way for a touchdown. But because of the inadvertent whistle, that play didn't stand. But that actually would have been a legal play because that ball never reached the end zone. So
and see, that was one I wasn't sure of when I was calling the game. I had no clue on that, and I thought it was because of an illegal block or some unusual play. There was a flag in the middle of the field at one point there, but that was different. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was an inadvertent whistle on the last play of the half. EA attempted the field goal. The ball didn't reach the end zone, so the ball was still live, and our kid picked it up and ran it all the way back across the field, but the referee had already blown it dead. So we go into halftime of a game that I think in the first half we ran 37 plays, and EA ran maybe 7 or 8 offensive snaps. And you feel good about it, but when you look at the scoreboard, the score is only 13-7, and it compliments to Coach Lee and his staff and what they were able to do. They came back in the second half. Their defense really was physical, was able to stop us from running. We had some issues personnel-wise a little bit in the second half, and they really got after it. And then Mr. London sparked them to start the second half with that 60-plus yard punt return to give them the lead 14-13 without their offense scoring. And I thought from that point in the game, EA pretty much dominated us on both sides of the ball in all phases of the game.
Yeah, at halftime you had 163 yards to 54 for the Spartans, so you really dominated pretty much.
Yeah, and that's what we think we need to be able to do. We know we start 6 sophomores on our defense, so we know we have some growing pains that we're going to go through there. Offensively, we do return some offensive linemen. We think we have 3 guys who can carry the football for us, in Devon Adams, Jacoby Williams, and Rondell Mealy. And we think that has to be a strength of our football team. And in the first half, we were able to get 3 yards here, 4 yards there. But we also converted some huge third down plays in that first half to keep those drives moving on. Kobe Bourgeois hit Gregory Clayton on a 3rd and 13. He hit Gregory Clayton again on a 3rd and 7. So we did some things. Rashawn Williams on a big third down play as well a couple times.
He threw that from the end zone to the goal line all the way up to about 40 yards.
Right. So we made plays when we had to make them in the first half, but I really thought in the second half, EA was able to physically dominate us with their interior line, their 5 guys that they were able to keep in the box. Their 3 defensive linemen were able to stop the running game that we had going in the first half.
They got a nose tackle named Knockham. That's a great.
Yeah, he's about 310 pounds, and he was hard to move. But I really thought that they once the game got kind of established and they got a little momentum with those kick return and that punt return, physically up front, they were able to kind of take it to us a little bit, and we never recovered. And one of the things that's going to be tough for us, we get into a situation like that where a team's able to control the line of scrimmage and stop us offensively from being able to run the ball and drop 7 or 8 guys back in the coverage. It's going to be tough to throw against that type of defense if they can have that much success. And it's a tip of the hat to them. Once they got that snowball rolling, it became an avalanche for us, and we couldn't recover.
You had a player injured during the game that was taken off on a stretcher, which was much concern to all the fans and people that might see the replay on TV. Comment about that, and we understand maybe there's some good news there.
Yes, there is. Norris Johnson is a program kid. He's a kid that's been in a program. He's a hard-working kid. He works real hard. He switched positions last year when I came over and became the head coach. He was a receiver his first 2 years. He moved over to defensive end where we thought he can kind of grow, and he became a good JV player for us last year. And this is his senior year. It's his first opportunity to start. This is his first varsity start in a game, and he had a big sack early in the first half. And really plays well and plays hard, and had a little scary injury right there at the beginning of the third quarter. Took a shot to the back of the head, a neck injury, and doctors and sports medicine team on the field was really concerned, wanted to make sure that there was no long-term injury, so they took the most precautions. He went to the hospital last night, and
they strapped him down.
They strapped him down, took him out in an ambulance on a stretcher. But once he was able to get to the hospital, was able to get everything calmed down. They were able to fully evaluate him, assess him. Everything looks positive. It doesn't look like it's going to be any long-term effects. He was able to walk on his own and move around and be able to pass some physical tests before he was able to leave the hospital late last night. So he goes back for evaluation Monday. We're hoping that everything is up and up and that there's no reoccurring injury there. And hopefully, if everything works out, he'll be back on the field soon.
I would like to mention, too, that Donnell Lee did talk to you before in the interview. He was asking about that.
No doubt. That's one of the things that it goes beyond what happens on the football field. Look, we spend a lot of time with these guys. We spend a lot of time trying to make sure guys are safe. And the football game became secondary at that point for us. That's a kid who, like I said, he does everything right. He's a great kid. For him to be putting that in, to be injured and with a chance for some long-term injury, we know that's a risk that this game has, and we just have to take all the precautions to make sure that we keep our kids safe. And that was what was of my and my staff's utmost concern was right there, is making sure that Norris Johnson was safe and his family was contacted, and we were able to do all those things. And while we're on that, I want to go ahead and thank not only my training staff, Scott Giardina and Victoria Nasa, but the East Ascension training staff, Acadian Ambulance Services, and St. James Parish Sheriff Willie Martin and Brent DeSherry for all of their efforts to make sure that we were able to get that kid to the hospital for proper care to make sure that he was okay.
Well, you got a big one coming up with St. James, your old school, and a great rivalry there between the two schools, even though now they're 3A and 4A. And we're going to be seeing you some more because you've got 2 more games with the 5A schools here in this parish.
Yeah, we know our schedule's tough, and St. James is prime this year. I know they had a little earlier exit than they expected last year in the playoffs, and I think Coach Valdez has a very seasoned team coming back. DeMarcus Williams, who this year was supposed to be his first year to be the starting quarterback, is now in year 3, and have some good guys up front on the offensive and defensive line, and they're going to be a tough game for us next year. And we know next week, and then we know everybody's going to be excited. But we just got to continue to improve, and that's kind of the message that we have for our football team. We know we're not a finished product. Anytime you're trotting out 10 sophomores in your starting lineup, you know you got to grow and you got to improve each and every day, and that's all we can do.
Well, thanks for coming up to Tilted Kilt.
Thank you.
BNC Electric in Gonzales and Baton Rouge has starters, alternators, generators, and batteries for autos, trucks, marine, tractors, forklifts, and heavy equipment in stock. BNC Electric, starter and alternator headquarters, serving Gonzales and Baton Rouge.
Brubacher's Grill at 909 East Ascension Street in Gonzales, where good food and good friends come together, offering a casual, fun atmosphere with a menu selection to satisfy the whole family. From pizzas, burgers, and po' boys to steaks, seafood, and salads, with daily lunch specials and a whole lot more. Bring the whole family or meet friends on the deck. There's fun and entertainment for all. Make Brubacher's your next stop for lunch or dinner, and check out the other 5 locations in Baton Rouge. Taste the great tradition at Brubacher's Grill, where some things only get better.
See Gonzales Military for a big selection of kids' camo and cold weather gear. They carry boots, camo rain gear, rubber boots, headgear, belts, and more. Gonzales Military on Burnside in Gonzales.
St. James Nursery in Gramercy is headquarters for your landscaping needs. They have plants, shrubs, trees, as well as palm trees. See Patrick or Denise Wagaspack or call 869-5254. Pot and Paddle Jambalaya Kitchen with 3 locations offering daily lunch specials is one of our newest sponsors. Pot and Paddle for dine-in, carry-out, and catering. A great place for lunch 7 days a week. Baton Rouge, Denham Springs, and here in Gonzales on Cabela's Parkway. Check them out online at potandpaddle.com.
When you need collision repair, you want your vehicle to look brand new. For a top-quality job, request Allen's Body Shop. Their certified technicians have been doing quality work since 1978. Kenny Allen, owner.
Living in the South, we're sometimes too busy to make it to the bank. And if on the go, like me, use the First American mobile app to check accounts, make transfers, deposits, and a whole lot more. First American, a banking tradition since 1910.
Bring all your friends to the new Tilted Kilt Sports Pub in Gonzales. Enjoy their wings with signature sauces and rubs, as well as burgers like you've never had anywhere else. The Tilted Kilt, home of the Sports Scene Live TV show, Sundays at 3 p.m.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. We have a special feature this week. the predictor. And the predictor will be making his selections and telling you exactly why he thinks that team will win and so on. So, Pete, let's get started. Who are we going to start with?
We're going to start with Dutchtown and Central. Dutchtown lost to Walker 35-10, and Central beat Dunham 42-28. But I'm still going to go with Dutchtown. Central got beat pretty bad by Santamon and Jamboree. So I think Dutchtown can come out with that win. It was a good game last year.
All right, you got Parkview and EA. You got that one?
Going to go with the blue. East Ascension, Coach Lee had a humongous win last night and real signature win. Beat Lutcher 30-13, and I know Parkview just lost by 2 to Catholic, but I'm going with East Ascension.
All right, what other games you got there?
Got Santamon, Helen Cox. I'm going to go with Santamon there. They beat Lake New Area 24-6. And we got Lutcher and St. James. I'm going to go with St. James.
Are you?
Yeah. They edged West St. John.
That's a big rivalry game, too.
Yeah. I think St. James might beat Lutcher.
And Lutcher moves up to 4A this year because they're the defending 3A state champion.
Yes, sir.
All right. What else you got?
I got Donaldsonville and White Castle. I'm gonna go with Donaldsonville. They beat Assumption. That was a big win for them. And White Castle is a smaller school and stuff, but that's a rivalry game too. So, but I think Donaldsonville is good this year. They're gonna have a great year, Donaldsonville. So I'm going with the Fighting Tigers.
All right. What else you got?
I got Ascension Catholic and Sophie B. Wright. ACHS ain't played their game yet. They're playing tomorrow, but they're going to have a good year, too. And I'm going to go with them on that game.
With who?
Ascension Catholic, the Bulldogs.
All right.
Ascension Christian and Ben Franklin. Ascension Christian, they got beat by Springfield. Springfield's a good team, a good program, and a big 2A school. And Ben Franklin, I'm gonna have to go with Ben Franklin. Ascension Christian's gonna win some games this year, but I'm not sure if they're gonna win that game.
What else you got?
We got Chattanooga and LSU. I mean, that's the easy one. LSU's gonna win that game pretty easy, you know. So we're gonna just go out and say it. It's the Fighting Tigers from LSU.
All right, well, there's the predictor, and he's going to be a regular feature here on the Sports Scene Live, so we'll look forward to that each week right here on the Tilted Kilt. Well, that's going to wrap up this first show of the 2017 football season here at the Tilted Kilt, our new home. We want you to come by and visit anytime during the week, of course, but we'll be here on Sunday afternoons at 3 o'clock if you'd like to see the show being taped, maybe even be a part of the show. And don't forget to pick up your football preview and our weekly edition of Sports Scene as well. All that coming up all during the football season. Glad to have you with us. We'll see you next time.